Topics.
Welcome.
What's your current source of news? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Or is it mainstream media? Do you think the mainstream media understands you enough to serve you content as you'd expect?
Hi guys. Karibuni tena. This is good. Job topics. Kama kawaida. We like to have conversations that are impactful, that will cause in some way or another influence the youth who we are a part of. So today's conversation is on the relevance of media. And so we are asking ourselves, bado TV ni relevant? Bado radio ni relevant? What happened to the newspaper? Do we still consult mainstream media to get our information? What information are you getting on TV?
No, but I also feel like now, the reason I wouldn't watch news is because before the end of the day, I already have my sources right. I already have confirmed my stories. I don't need to go back to watch, say, this channel so that I can get an anchor, tell me what's happening when I already know what is happening. So I feel like, and then it's also a disservice for us to think of TV as just a news platform when they only have like 3 hours in a day. That's morning, lunch break, and during night news. What happens in between the news, the rest of the intervals for what happens in between? Because I feel like
news. That's
okay. Let's
news
But
the
you
whole
see
day.
now,
But
what TV has come true is just news.
No, you can't solely rely on social media for your platform. First of all, who is giving you that information? Because we as newsmakers, we are the ones who go to those, let's say if it's a press conference on a particular subject, we don't necessarily do direct reporting. So it's upon us, we listen to what the person has to say, you interpret it, and you give the people the right information. You don't necessarily consume it evo.
like
So when you say that you rely on, you have your sources, who are your sources? Are they people in the media? Are they professionals?
But they're
These are just people who are online with their own opinions. Yes, you are entitled to your opinions, but when it comes to certain information, sensitive information, you know where to get that, and that's on news.
No, but over
stations.
time, I feel like the news personalities, or say the houses, have been swayed into directions.
So I think the question should, just to expound more on that, who does TV target? Who's the audience now?
Yeah.
Since at least I know a percentage of the youth is completely out of mainstream. Who's the new audience?
Is that
now?
really the case?
The old
Yeah,
people.
the old
Is that really the case?
I feel that has really
Yeah.
changed.
I feel like the old people
People
are
are
watching news than we are.
Then there lies the problem. Once you start saying that news ni ya watu wazee,
No,
for
that's
the
not
old
what
people.
we're saying.
That's what you're saying,
So
because
who
if
changes
if
this narrative then?
let
Whose
me give
responsibility
let me
is it
give
to
you a
change the
challenge.
narrative?
We as the fourth estate.
Yeah.
But
But are
what
you
we
doing
do
your
at the end
job?
of the day,
But are
yes, we
we
do.
doing the job?
If you look at, I think across all TV stations, there are segments that are meant to cater for different people, be it the old, the young. There are those segments that
That's
are
true.
there.
No, but here's
And
the-
particularly the problem, and I normally hear this from the youth, saying that e-news yangu, awani target, hakuna kitu inanisaidia.
Hapana.
When you hear of something important like, let's say, the Eurobond, government borrowing money, and that money to a certain extent was supposed to be channeled to some youth group. Doesn't that benefit
It
you?
really does
Shouldn't
benefit
you
you.
be asking questions? Now those are the things,
But
because
you
at the
see,
end of the
you
day,
get
information from
you see,
social
people don't
media.
want to
That's
take
what we're saying.
responsibility.
Yeah, but you see, here's
But
the
at the end of
thing.
the day, if you want to clarify it, then you watch TV.
But
And it's
no,
there,
I
it
find
does
even
not.
news on social media is more informative than I'd rather go buy a newspaper because I'll get more information and details about that particular story than watching news. It's just
But-
they
but-
cover a
But
really
even
short.
print was plagued with fake news.
Yeah, I feel like here's the
It's
thing,
lost its
Shukri. It's not
essence.
like it's not like the young people, because we are speaking for a percentage of the young people.
Yes.
Like, we don't find news boring. We want to be informed, but you guys are limiting the information. Like, you spend so much time on maybe political issues.
Yeah.
Then tell me about Eurobond. Expound it. Make even the business news much longer than you would the politics. Because
Yeah.
what? do I
But that's
care?
what happens. That's what happens. Let me give you maybe we are basing our argument on
On
events
news
that
and-
took place in the last 6 months.
Which
It
are
was a
honestly-
politicking period.
It's true.
And
But
kusema
it
ukweli,
has
vitu
shaped
kama
how we
hizi,
view it
yes,
henceforth.
it has to a certain extent, but you can't, just because politics ndio iko kuendelea, does that mean that you're not supposed to cover it? Yes, people get tired, but at the end of the day, you have a responsibility kuhakikisha kwamba mwananchi amejulishwa ni nini kinaendelea.
All right, so do you think that for mainstream media to stay relevant, should we pick up more on niche programming?
I think that's what's happening. If you look at certain news organizations, that's what they're doing. Even in radio, you'll see like a station like Capital FM. You know that their products and what they're selling to their listeners is they're targeting a particular people. That's exactly what happens for TV. And you spoke of the relationship between getting your information online and from news organizations. If you've noticed, almost all news organizations, what they're doing, it's more of a convergence. You're connecting your social media platforms to traditional media. And you might have noticed that in other stations, people have been laid off and they're investing big on social media. So it's actually a big part, because nowadays, it doesn't mean that you can only watch your news exclusively on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
You can watch it on Facebook,
You can
streaming
stream
it
it,
on,
right.
on YouTube. All that information is there. And if you don't want to watch live news, it's also available on YouTube later after the broadcast.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, all of that is there.
Has been included.
Yes.
So for it to stay relevant, there should be a balance on the traditional for the traditional based audiences and also transition into the digital.
I think that's
that's
where we're going, because even as reporters, normally when you go out to the field, there's a reporter, a cameraman, and at the end of the day, there's a video editor. So
Right.
nowadays, you'll notice that you only need one person to do kazi ya watu watatu.
Yeah.
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 So it's being oversimplified. But at the end of the day, the quality of the product is not compromised.
Yeah.
As we speak as the youth, do we think that it's been
Yeah.
oversimplified? Example, when it comes to entertainment,
Yes.
and I know that's not the only type of programming that we
Yeah,
have. We only have the same kind of production, sort of. We have a DJ and we have someone who's like moderating the entire session, and then we have kids dancing uko chini.
Yeah.
So do you think that tumesahau that the youth can actually stay engaged in current affairs and participate in more impactful ways, as opposed to kukuja on a Friday, switch on and I watch DJ and I can actually go on radio and listen to music?
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe I can listen to what you
Sandra,
guys have to
kindly.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Before we,
I feel like you're talking about, I don't know, Ezekiel Muto is talking about 60% local content, or I'm
Yeah,
not quite sure.
right.
So what you guys are trying to use to cover up for that space, like most of it I can't sit down and watch. And I feel like that's like an insult to me.
Why?
as
Why
a
can't you-
creative,
why can't you watch
because
it?
you
It's not
guys do not
informative.
want to spend money to create good content. I'm not saying
And even
every show
production.
is like really mediocre or below quality and in terms of content.
So
I feel like you're interpreting your audience to be like a really, so sorry to say, but dumb audience.
Yeah.
Like you can just give us anything, like accents here and there,
Especially
throw it
the
here,
accents.
and then we are meant to watch that, and then
Yeah.
and then when we don't support that, you're like these people,
People
these Kenyans don't appreciate
their
like,
own, and it's not quality.
I don't agree with you, because at a certain point in time, I also used to think the same way.
Then what
And then I realized once I was embedded with them, I saw how people operate. You get to appreciate that some people really work hard on their content. I think to a certain extent, we are used to Western content.
Not-
So
not
at the
from-
end of the day, you base what you saw from the US, you want the same quality, the same content.
Not true.
but
the-
isn't
the-
that the
the
youth?
continuity
Isn't
here.
that the
But
youth?
aren't we,
Not-
if, so you're
What-
telling me
so-
that,
so when we know what quality is and what
Yeah.
we want to
Yes,
be fed
yes.
with, that's now a
you see,
problem.
this,
That's
this is
aping.
not an excuse, but at the end of the day, in terms of mahali tuko sasa na tunako elekea, na mahali wenzetu wako, ni mbali sana. And we are going there.
But we're not
But there are
trying to
people who are,
improve.
but
the
there are
content
people,
has almost been the same
no,
for
but
the
there are people who are
longest
doing
time.
that. I think
Which
that's a
people are
challenge.
this?
But production, there are people who really do that.
But you
Production
If you
houses
look
don't
at
invest.
if you look at certain media stations, you will see that local content, and
Which-
it's actually
But the
ni
thing
mzuri
is,
sana.
yes, kunaweza kuwa na local content,
Yes,
but
yes.
how
Nani
it's
Shukri.
packaged for us, we're not able to consume
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
dispute that,
Right.
but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is we should give those people a chance.
Okay.
But here's
as
thing,
the viewers,
Moira.
and also as production houses, there are a lot of creatives out there. We should also give those people
Partnership,
Yes,
opportunities.
exactly,
Yes,
and
I'm
that's-
not
that's-
denying that
They
at
should
all.
Yeah.
be, just to finish this up, we need to at least have a partnership with
Yeah.
people who have
Content.
decided not to be, for their content to pass through gatekeepers, and they've gone out and done their content online. There should be sort of a partnership and a collaboration with mainstream media, where we could actually use these creatives who don't necessarily get a platform online. I mean, on mainstream media or traditional media, and have their content come to mainstream, because
Yeah.
everyone has gone to YouTube.
I think that-
why can't we now then
Move
To TV.
YouTube
Yeah.
to-
I think that happens to a certain extent. You spoke of giving people opportunities. I'll give you a classic example of a program in K24. The people who came, they had a particular content. They said that they think it might be a good idea, but the quality of shooting ndio ilikuwa ni tatizo.
Yeah.
But because we as an organization believed in that project, tulijitolea and we shot it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the creative responsibility is to the person who came up with the idea. But shooting and everything, we assist. So we actually do that. I think at the end of the day, kile kitu ambacho si wote tunapaswa kujua ni kwamba big media organizations do their research. There's a lot of sampling. Wanaangalia what do people want, and particularly let me just say my point. In the last 10 to 15 years, yes.
Umalize, ukimaliza na hii point yako,
Yes.
is it still impactful? Does it still have a way of shaping the society?
Of course.
Especially the youth?
Of
No,
course.
Still.
I'll
Yes.
give you- let me
It
give
does.
you
It
an example.
does.
Let me give you an
It does.
example. It doesn't, because look at when the mainstream stations were shut down. Like we almost moved on, like it was
Like we
nothing.
didn't care.
Like we didn't
Only
care.
a certain people were affected,
Yeah.
and those are the people who are uko mashinani. Wale, of
Exactly.
course, they can't.
Which is
get
really
their
sad.
news.
But you
But
moved
don't
on
you
because
think also
you
it was-
moved on because of the circumstance.
It wasn't the
Once
circumstance.
mulika sana bila TV, what did you say? People went online telling the government that
Not
no.
really.
That
was,
switch TV
those were
stations
people
on.
who
That's
were
what
being
happened.
told
And
by
that's
the
true.
media
No.
houses to support
Not
them.
really, apana. Yes.
Those are not
I-
guys
individuals
were
were just saying
paid,
we
I'm
need
sure.
the TV. Those guys were paid. Were told let's start our protest. Lazima turudishwe. Wanalipa
Sawa.
wende
Let me
waziko
tell you,
havoc.
yeah.
I can't
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing. Let me
authenticate
answer
that, but what I
Moira's-
can
my
tell you
opinion.
is that people were
Let me-
complaining.
let me
and
answer
it's a
not
fact.
so many.
Let
It is a
Maria
fact.
answer this
Your
question.
circle was complaining.
Yeah, your circle, because you're losing money and you're going to lose it more anyway. Let me answer Moira's question. I feel like the media has a place there has a role to
still
play.
has.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you keep like I can speak for my young brother. He's in Form 2. All the best, Moses. So my bro, every day, I will not mention the channel, but he has to tune in and watch kids, DJs, and hype music all the time. Now, my question is, what kind of impact is that on my bro? Like, that is what they're simplifying his brain to be. Like, that.
But you
But
see,
you see,
you're
let me
placing
say,
that responsibility
on
on
the-
one entity.
yeah, let me
No,
say,
you
wait,
see,
but
can
you
I-
see,
hii mambo yote, their parents, you as a sibling,
but
ushaimwambia
you see,
wewe wacha mambo ya DJ
Ninamwambia,
peke yake.
but unaona,
Maria,
the thing
but
is,
you see-
even during the day ameonyeshwa kama hakuna DJ, kama hakuna host, na kama hakuna music na request, hakuna any other form of
No, but you
entertainment.
see, Maria, that's
Hakuna
his
any other form
preference.
of-
That's his preference.
That's
It's
what
not
the
only
media-
one. No, but it's not only one channel station that has that. You
Tell
can find.
me
You
a
can. You
station,
can move
a
to
mainstream
maybe. You
station.
can go to KTN News and watch news. It doesn't really have to go to that particular station. You know, sometimes
But
he
every
actually
Friday?
no.
And
but
this
yes,
comes
every
down
Friday,
to
but it
personal
comes to him
responsibility.
on what's his preference.
This comes down to
So
personal
as I
responsibility.
But that's his preference.
But isn't that the work of the media to
They have
to
given you
educate
a
my-
variety.
They have a
See,
responsibility.
they have given you a
and
variety
they
of
have
options.
they still have a responsibility, and they play a major role in how they shape
Yes.
us as the youth.
I've not
That
refused,
being
yes.
said, there has to be a balance. We can't still be the same people as we say kulia serikali now.
Yeah.
Crying the media.
Yeah.
We have concluded that we can actually have a partnership and a collaboration where creatives and the media can come together and create content that can be impactful, entertaining. It has a niche market, and it still has its way of shaping the society.
No, I
So
feel like it's a platform we are opening. I don't think they are open to that.
Which
There's
platform?
like
The social media platform?
regulations.
But
Like
you see, let
you
me
try
tell you.
enter into any mainstream media, sell your idea. Say, try that.
I think
Like,
the,
you
prob-
just don't
the
get
thing
it.
is,
You
the
just-
thing
you
is, if
just
you're
don't
fresh,
get
I think,
in.
Maria, my point is, the thing is, if you're fresh in a particular field, obviously you don't expect to go step into someone's office and tell them that this is what I have, take it, I believe in my product.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong being that confident, but at the end of the day, you even have to ensure that what you're delivering is actually good content.
Where is the
And people are actually being given opportunities, so you don't have to complain. And we've spoken of the changes
other
we're seeing.
platforms,
There are
yeah.
other platforms.
Yeah.
Actually,
If there's-
like in the
there's-
US,
yeah.
for instance, YouTube is big. You see that someone is 17 years old with a makeup channel, a comedy channel,
That's right.
a news channel,
Alright.
and they're making
that
millions of
direction
shillings.
as you're finishing
That's
up.
even
and
us
that's
person,
where I feel
traditional
like there's
media,
a personal
even
responsibility,
yes,
Yeah.
and we can also we have choice. We
even
have the
traditional
power of
media
choice,
is moving
and
towards
also
that
traditional
direction.
media is also moving that
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
get to the people. So I think that concludes our conversation.
so we move
it's
to-
But I think my message at the end of the day is
Wow.
people need to collaborate and work together.
Yeah, please tell that to the
Agreed.
mainstream
Agreed.
media.
For it
That's
to
all
be
Please
what
tell
you're saying.
that to
And that's what
your
happens.
Pass
Yeah.
down the
Yeah,
message.
pass that. Yeah,
message.
please.
All right.
Let them give them, give the young people a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Media si wazee peke yake, news anchors.
Mkutano imekwisha sasa.
Okay. I think that's
Thanks.